Matt sell $285,000 in roofs in his first 10 weeks when he'd only been door knocking and selling roofs for 4 months prior. And in part 1 and 2, we covered how he did 130K in his first 10 days, why things went to shit after that, and he didn't close a single deal for a month. Every single step we took to solve that issue, optimize the campaigns, and lead to an extra 150K in sales with a 56 to 66% closing ratio. So if you want to check those videos out, go to this description right now. I'm going to link those there for you. If you want to download this guide right here, follow me through, download that with another link in the description. But today we're going to be covering a full recap and notes on what we learned throughout this whole process, what we could have done better, and what we did well throughout this campaign. So here's a full recap. Again, we did 130K first 10 days, no sales for 3 weeks. Then we added some strict qualifications for insurance. We made some new ads. We had a brief dead period as well as we implemented this new system. There was some doubt starting to seep in on Matt's side, which is completely reasonable. And then we had an optimized system. We ramped it up to drive better results. In his final 2 weeks, he had 150K in sales, over a 50% closing rate again. So overall, he had a 26% closing rate. When it was insurance qualified, he had above a 50% closing rate. The cost per lead was about $23. Cost per appointment was $120. Cost per close was $256. And then overall, his investment was $4,400. We are a little bit more expensive now, but this was $4,400. And he saw a 33x ROI, roughly speaking. Sometimes it takes 90 days, but then you have a money printing machine. So on the left-hand side, we just have the metrics that we just went through. And that's going to be the metrics on the non-optimized campaigns because we were building this system for him. Now, if we take a look on the right-hand side, this is a scenario of what it could have been had we had this optimized the whole time. So in my opinion, the cost per appointment could have been lower because we would have only been going by those insurance qualified people. He would have had a higher closing rate, as you can see above. When he was on only insurance jobs, it was above 50%. So we can say 44% pretty safely. Cost per close would have been $220, and he would have seen a 63x ROI actually. However, if we look at the real numbers for the last 2 weeks when they were optimized, he spent $1,600, and he had 130K generated, which was an 81x ROI. And now that's a small sample size, but keep in mind, that's what the actual numbers were for that period. Because the goal of our 3-month program is we want to set up a system while generating a positive ROI. So we generated a 37x roughly, or 32x ROI throughout the timeline of the system. But our real goal is to scale it while we work to set up all these different things. We can nail down the offer, the format, and let me actually show you guys. While we make sure we're getting leads appointments and then qualified appointments and then sales, as well as testing the offer, the messaging, the format, as well as the landing page and form, our goal is to set all that stuff up within that 3-month period and generate a positive ROI. So as we did with Matt, we did that 31x, 32x ROI, and we ultimately did set up that system that was optimized. Would it have stayed at 81x ROI the whole time? Probably not. But are we confident it would have been over 50x and we can scale that up as well? Yes. And that's the real goal, to have that scalable system at the end of it. But again, like I mentioned, it can take time to have that money printing machine where you can literally put $1 in and get $50 out at scale. And it's just something to keep in mind for everyone possibly trying to build that system for themselves. You have to continually tweak it over time to get to that end result of a money printing machine. I think what we did well was using the offer to our advantage. $1,000 for a new roof is very attention grabbing, and then we justified it with the actual copy as well as adjusting to the offer. Like I said, there was 2 weeks, 2 weeks a ton of sales, 6 weeks only one sale, and then 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of a ton of sales again. And that 6 weeks was really, really important because if we didn't make any tweaks in between there, we didn't follow a process, it would have been only that initial bout of sales. Now, what we could have done better is we should have been putting out better ads. Although they were different, they were not up to our standard now, and we would have liked to see more regular ad testing and more variation. And I'll go into that in a second. We probably also should have had better communication. We should have known every disposition for every appointment at max 24 to 48 hours after what happened, so that we can make the adjustments faster. We can have an intervention sooner. And lastly, we should have tested the post experience click, a little bit more with the different landing pages, lead form options, etc. And I don't really want to cover that too much, but that's another thing that we could have done better. And so we tested anywhere from 30 to 50 ads, and here are some of those examples of ads that were losers. I showed some other ones that were winners, and these are some of the graveyard ads, as you can see. We tested memes, educational ones, personable, etc. But being fully honest, some of these kind of suck. Um, some of them kind of sucked. We should have done two things differently. We should have had a much higher bar for the actual quality of the ads, and we should have put out way more volume. Now we have a saying that we're always going to raise the bar of the account to make sure we're always getting better. It's more of a check because, some of these ads are honestly really bad compared to what we put out now, which leads to the next slide. For background, this case study was before we went deeper into product. And for the last 6 months, we've been obsessing around ads, funnels, tracking, launch tests, philosophies, etc., to ensure success for our clients. But this case study specifically is one that we looked back on to model for our 2.0 program. And so I detail another client we modeled in a case study linked below. And so what we changed moving forward is we test landing pages once a week. We have a full tracking system with an appointment coordinator who checks on every single appointment to see how it was. We have forms sent out every single appointment so we can see if it was a show, close, revenue generated. So we know the actual data around what ads we're running, and we can make faster iterations and decisions. We also make over 120 ads for a month as of September 6, 2024. That also scales over time with a full testing system around that as well. And so you can check out the document, and I'll link that here so that you can see everything we've learned creating 400, it's actually 500 plus ads and over 3 million in revenue for our clients. Now, the results of all of this has been that one of our clients just hit $630,000 in a single month for Meta and YouTube ads at a 22x ROI. 22x ROI. And you can check out the case study that I'm going to link here on what's working right now and how we generated 600K in 1 month for our clients. So all of these things that we did here, raising the bar of the account, obsessing over ads, our 2.0 program, all of that's launched, detailed in this case study, as well as this document right here that I'm going to link as well in the description / in this download. There's also another case study you can check out with our 2.0 program, which has over 83 appointments in under 4 months for another clients. And we ultimately scaled that to a last month of 30 to 40 in just 1 month of appointments. So you can check out that case study. And in the last 2 months or last 6 months, we've generated 2 million with our new 2.0 program. And here are the lessons that we've learned from this specific case study and this campaign. Use the tools you have. Qualifying forms and surveys along with Meta's AI is an extremely powerful mix because they can learn how to find the people that will go through that funnel. I would typically start with no or little friction, then add friction as needed. Number 2, make better ads. One of our internal rules, as I mentioned, is to raise the bar of the account. So we always want to make ads that are better than what's already in the account. Another thing to keep in mind is roofing ads suck, and being in the top 1% of advertisers is not that hard. So if you make ads and launch ads every single week, you continually raise the bar of the account. With enough volume, you'll become that top 1% within a reasonable time frame. And finally, just give it time. You're trying to create a machine where you can put $1 in and get $10, $20, $50 out. And that has competition. And so it takes time and effort, but it's all worth it because you can literally print money at scale once it's built. And so if you want to see anything more from us, you can check out our YouTube for in-depth material on what to do. If you want to book a call, just download the guide and check that out. But the biggest thing is check out our YouTube. We have a ton more on how we optimize our ads, different things like that. This was a case study on what we did with Matt, and there's going to be some other case studies as well coming out soon. And again, if you want to see part 1 and 2 where we cover in depth how we did 100K, how everything went to shit, what we did to solve that, how we did another 150K as well, then that's going to be linked in the description, um, of this video. Or if you want to see this case study where we did 630K in a single month for one of our clients, that's also going to be linked in the description. If you want to take a look at any of these other links, then download the guide that's going to be linked there as well.